Vlog number 19, experience. With any job in the world, we all know experience is key. If you have experience as doing this thing, or if you're doing that thing, then you can pretty much do, or hopefully do anything, because you have experience, you're used to it, you are accustomed to a certain number of ways, and you can adjust to the process and you can go for it. So experience has a lot of pull in a lot of business places, and it makes a lot of sense because you would prefer to go with somebody who's used to doing it, somebody who has accommodated themselves to doing a thing, who's experienced in it, as opposed to somebody who's brand new, fresh off the block, they don't know anything. But all that's said and done, experience is overrated, guys. I only say this in this specific instance of the help desk because you can have all the experience in the world, but if you at the end of the day are just not good, then you're just not good. I'm sorry, it's the only way I can put it. I don't want to put too much of a negative spin on this, but there are some instances where there are people who are, relatively speaking, as experienced as I am in certain things, but they're kind of bad in other ways on certain things, and it kind of cancels out the fact that they have experience. It's like you're back at square one again. And given the whole retcon thing, basically starting a whole entire brand new project, it's all about how fast can you adapt to the new environment, or how fast can you get certifications and go somewhere else. I mean, it's just kind of, I think it is what it is. And I just find it a little bit funny. That there are some people who have absolutely zero experience, no experience at all, and they're coming into the help desk world. And from my perspective, being a help desk agent for one and a half years now, almost. Well, it's not almost, just 1.5 years now. It's kind of funny seeing the brand new person, brand spanking new, coming in and is like, hey, how do I do this, or how do I do that, or what's this, or what's that, what's the procedure for this? They're asking pretty much questions. I'm like, man, you should know this already, but they don't because they never used it before. And then you have the flip side where you have people who are supposedly way more experienced than me, have maybe let's say 8 years in the help desk world, and I have 1.5 years, but yet I can do a lot of things more intuitively than, as opposed to them. They kind of have a lot of trouble with some things, and I just find the contrast so strange and miraculous on both ends. I mean, one end you don't know absolutely nothing, so you can go for the justification. Okay, they're new, they'll get used to it, but I don't really see that intuition, that thing of let me try to figure it out, or let me click around here and see what happens. And it makes sense because maybe they're afraid they're going to break it if they're new. And then on the other hand, you have somebody who has super senior experience. They've been doing this, doing that, been tier 1 for 8 years now, and it's like, oh yeah, I've been tier 1 for 8 years, and no, I know this, I know that. And then you sit them in front of the computer and it's like, hey, how do I do this, or what's this, what's that, why is this like that, and how come this, that, and the other? And it's like, oh my gosh, how can you not figure this out? So anyway, experience is quite overrated. I gotta be completely honest with everybody. Experience is extremely overrated. The only time experience will ever be relevant is if one person has this level of knowledge and this level of this level of knowledge, this level of certifications, and this level of this, and the other person has the same exact level, and this person maybe has been there for like a year or two, and you might trust them a little bit more. But at the end of the day, if this person over here who's brand spanking new, or relative to the other person, has less experience, but they seem more intuitive on certain things, like they can try to figure it out, or they can puzzle it together, then they will beat the pants off of somebody who's been there for 5 years. Because I mean, let's be completely honest. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. If you've been in a certain one specific position, assuming it's like the base entry level, for 7 years, and you haven't moved much, I mean, I don't want to be the person to say it, but you might want to consider some other things, because you've been there for 7 years. It's I don't know. Sorry, it's just my perspective on things. I don't want to be mean or anything, but experience is overrated. Let me just put it that way. Like, just because you're experienced doesn't mean you know anything. So I'm just gonna flat out leave it like that. I hope that I will never fall into that trap. This is hopefully I'll go back and watch this video and say, yeah, I need to work on this, I need to work on that. But experience, I mean, I'm just gonna cut it there. Sorry, just whatever.